We've certainly had our fair share of them this year. I don't know that I've ever been part of a season quite like this. I've been part of a season where there's been a couple games maybe that have been decided in the closing seconds, but not 5 or 6 like we've had this year, and most of them have not gone our way. So I heard for our guys because they've invested a lot, they've continued to keep a positive attitude, and you'd like to think they'd be rewarded and some of those would even out over the course of the season, but for whatever reason it hasn't.
About Villanova tomorrow night. They're one of the top teams in the country. How big a challenge is this game?
Well, this will be as good a team as I think we've ever hosted here, certainly in my time, but probably for quite some time. You know, it's a lot of the same guys from last year that have really elevated their level of play, even from the first time that we played them this season. Just they're so unselfish. They can stretch the floor so well because of the number of guys they have that can shoot the three-point shot. And then they have Ochefu and Pinkston who can score on the block. So there really aren't a lot of missing pieces, and I think to go along with that, I don't think people talk enough about their defense. They're very sound defensively. They turn you over, and they turn those turnovers into points on the other end of the floor. Just a very good basketball team, and you know we're going to have to have our A game tomorrow night.
You said that they're obviously playing even better than they did the first time you played them. I guess what gives you hope that you guys have maybe made some improvement enough to maybe keep pace?
Well, I think our record in February compared to our record in January would indicate that we're playing much better.
Right.
We were 0-8 to start. We've gone 4-4 with 2 or 3 near misses in our last 8. So we've played much better basketball, and you know, so I think every coach hopes you improve over the course of the season, and that's not always the case, but it certainly has been the case with this group.
This is the final week for the seniors here at home. I want to ask you about Austin. Here's a guy that was part of 3 NCAA tournament teams and coming off his senior year. What's he meant to this program in the last 4 years?
Well, he's meant a great deal to our program. You know, he was an important part of 3 NCAA tournament teams, but I'm probably just as proud of the way he's handled this year. You know, he started well in November and December, and as a result, we played pretty well as a team. He had a rough January, and we had a rough January probably because of that. But he's bounced back in February and has got us back to playing basketball like we're capable of. And I think he deserves a lot of the credit because things weren't going well for him when we were on that 9-game losing streak. There is an opportunity to lose your locker room when that takes place. And Austin, even though it would have been easy for him to be into himself and how do I fix what's going on with me, he understood the big picture and made sure that that locker room stayed the way it needed to and that our culture didn't disappear because we were in the middle of a tough stretch. And as a result, the guys are still practicing with a great attitude, a positive attitude with a lot of energy, and I think Austin deserves a lot of credit for that.
Mac, they obviously have a little more of an inside threat than maybe you guys did last year, but their ability to space the floor and stretch defenses, does it kind of remind you what you liked to do last year?
Yeah, it's very similar. You know, I think they've made 13 three-point shots in each of their last 2 games. So, you know, and they have 6 different guys that can shoot it. So they can bring guys off the bench that can make the shot. And like us last year where Doug and Ethan took as many shots 4 feet behind the three-point line as they did on the three-point line, Hilliard is doing the same thing. Archie Diacono is doing the same thing. They'll shoot it from deep, so it really puts pressure on your defense to get out there and guard that three-point shot. Now you do that. Now all of a sudden they're trying to get downhill with the dribble and create things for their teammates. So, I mean, they're a very well-coached team and a very seasoned, experienced team. They're fun to watch play unless you're the one that has to be playing against them.
How valuable is Archie Diacono